fiber, what is fiber? And it's going to be the indigestible part of the plant. Everything that you eat, and this is important for cardiovascular health, everything that you eat goes into your blood.
Right.
And in that blood, it has to be transported, depending on what you're eating, by different transporters. And then the fats get transported by LDL cholesterol, or they get transported by HDL. But the point being is that what you eat goes into your bloodstream, with the exception of fiber. Fiber is a little different. Technically there could be some of it, a little bit, but I'll explain a little more. What is fiber going to do for us? See the outside of this seed here? That's the fiber part. That outside of the seed is what has the heart health benefits. It has the antioxidants in it, B vitamins, and we're going to find out some other benefits too. The inside part is the pizza. That's your white flour. This is what, when you make white flour, they remove all the outside. And they also remove this part here, the germ. This is also a nutrient-rich part of a whole grain. It's the one that sprouts. Now, looking at digestion to understand, so we just said everything that we eat goes into our bloodstream. Here is starch. It could be whole grain. The middle part of the grain does need to go into our bloodstream. So if you look at starch, it's a big, long chain of sugars. It might not taste sweet. Quinoa or brown rice might not taste sweet, but when you eat it, it is sugar. So when you digest it, it breaks it down to small particles that get absorbed in the small intestine, that spongy small intestine, and it goes into the bloodstream. Now when you compare that to fiber is also technically a bunch of sugars. But these sugars are connected very strongly in a way that humans can't break down. So look at the product. Goes in and wham, same thing. Goes in one end and comes out the other end, pretty much. And that's a good thing. There are some nutrients there that do get absorbed, but for the most part, that fibrous part doesn't get absorbed. So, well, how much fiber do I need to eat, Eric? And, well, it varies by age and by gender. If we are in the women 50 plus category, then you're 21 grams of fiber. If you're in the 19 to 49 category, it's 25 grams. So, well, why less fiber if we're getting older? Why? Right? And the question is, you don't need less fiber. What you need as you get older is less food, less calories. We calculate how much fiber you need by how many calories. It's about 14 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories that you need to eat. So that's why it looks like you need less. Well, really the point is, as we get older, we have less muscle and a slower metabolism, so we do need less food as we get older. Now, there are some handouts in the back, for anybody. I'll get you one. Looking at the types of fiber, you might hear this a lot in education. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber, right? There's a fiber that forms, that is you would think like sand. It kind of goes in and it comes out. That's the insoluble fiber, your wheat bran. People say, wow, it looks like rabbit food. It is quite coarse, and when you mix it in water, it doesn't dissolve, but it has this magical power of when it gets to the colon, it does grow 3 times its size and absorb water. Now, what about this one? What about soluble fiber, the one that does dissolve in water? It makes a gooey, sticky mess. That's what it does. It's good that it does that, because gooey, sticky fiber traps cholesterol. It traps fats. It also traps, surprisingly, what's called digestive juice. It's called bile acids. Bile helps break down fat. Bile is made out of recycled cholesterol. When you eat a lot of this soluble fiber, and I'll show you some examples here. If you look right here, the beans, these soluble fiber foods form that gooey, sticky gel in your intestines, and it traps the digestive juice and the bile part, that recycled cholesterol. Bile is made of recycled cholesterol. So when you go to the toilet, with the fiber, that bile comes out instead of going back to the liver. So the liver says, I need to make more bile. So it takes cholesterol out of your blood so that it can make bile. In that way, it reduces your blood cholesterol. And it's quite effective to bring down, if you're eating 5 grams or more of soluble fiber, you can bring down the cholesterol, I believe it's 5 to 10 points. It's even prompted folks to do this, which is legitimate. Okay, I can't always eat the right foods, Eric. What can I do? Can I just take some Metamucil? And I say, well, technically, yes. Yes, you may. That is a good strategy, too.
Metamucil has a lot of sugar.
And some Metamucil has sugar, some doesn't, right? Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Last time I checked.
So for those who came in, we were looking at soluble fiber and how it lowers cholesterol. Oh, actually, if you want, you can put your name here. We can email you the slides if you want.
Oh,
Yeah, and we also have a handout for you. So today's talk, as we talked for those who just came in, we were looking at fiber, but it's specifically how it helps with cardiovascular health, given that everything that we eat goes into our bloodstream, with the exception of fiber. And fiber has other qualities that have been proven to lower cholesterol. And we were just saying how some folks use this as a shortcut. It is legitimate and it does work for trapping the bile acid.
So which one of these is the best, better purchase?
They're all pretty good. Some people like this one because there's literally just psyllium seed pretty much, I think, in that one.
What is it called?
What's psyllium?
Console. Psyllium is it's a type of seed like you would think of like a wheat seed or corn seed. The shell of it is very, when you mix it with water, it forms a gel. So they take that outside shell and use that as a supplement to lower cholesterol, and it works. So here, these companies put it into a package for you. Here's an example of, and I brought this one because I think as we're talking about fiber that dissolves in water and fiber that doesn't, soluble versus insoluble, most fruits and vegetables have pretty much both. We don't need to be so picky, we just have to eat a variety. In this example, this is oat bran. We would say, wow, this is just the shell of oat bran. Shell of the oat. Just the shell part. They took out a lot of the carb out. There's still quite a bit there. But if you look, it's 3 grams of soluble and 3 grams of insoluble. And we all think oats, I think this is a great product. We all think oats is only soluble fiber because we've been told that, but it's actually pretty much everything's got a little bit of both. Here's some examples of insoluble fiber. This is more of the wheat bran. Corn bran shocked me completely. How could this is the type of fiber that does not form a gel. It goes right through you and it helps with regularity, increases the size of your stool, which is good. The larger the diameter of the stool, the less pressure on the colon wall, the less chance of diverticulosis, diverticulitis, hemorrhoids, or being constipated. This really is nature's broom, cleaning us out.
What is it called? Honey? I couldn't read it.
Oh, this company here, Honeyville.
Honey.
Yeah, I got the numbers from their label. I said, wow, that's pretty remarkable. That's quite a bit of fiber. I don't think we would add half a cup of this cornbread. Maybe. Here's another example of insoluble fiber that helps increase the size of the stool, and it does something else too. I know you've seen this bread before, maybe? This bread is probably one of the most healthiest breads I've seen out there. I should have put the label on there, and I don't think I have it on me, but when you look at the label, every grain in there is whole grain. That means they take the whole seed and grind up the whole seed with the bran and the germ and what's in the inside too, the starch. So that's quite remarkable. They're finding that this type of whole wheat, the wheat part with the antioxidants that it has, it does something else too. And somehow in the small intestine interacts with our immune system, reducing inflammation, prompting the American Heart Association to recommend whole grains because of the anti-inflammatory effect on our blood vessels. So we'll talk more about that because we're going to retouch that topic. It's very important to reduce inflammation. What is inflammation? You hit yourself, you get a bump, that is inflammation. That is an immune reaction to repair something that's been damaged. If we are having inflammation in our arteries from carrying extra abdominal weight or because we're not eating the healthiest foods, one step is to eat whole grains. We'll explain a little more. Now, another type of fiber that is not always talked about, and I wanted to bring it up today, even though it's just a short presentation, is what you call short chain carbs, short chain polysaccharides. And these are the added sugars not added sugars, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Added fibers. Added fibers that are, you'll see how they use them. Inulin is the common word you would see in a food label. Their technical name is fructooligosaccharide or fructan. Now, this is fiber. You don't digest it right away, but it does get fermented in the small intestine. It's very fermentable. Kind of like beans have a type of similar sugar that would get fermented and cause gas and bloating and cramping for about 15-20% of Americans. This type of fiber does not make your stool bigger, does not help with preventing constipation. What's interesting about it, that's our initial thought, but it may help a little bit, because what it does do is it does draw water into the colon before it ferments, adding to the bloated feeling but it could make your stool softer. So I'm not saying that we don't eat this. We would recommend eating fiber from all sources, not just this. See, here's an extreme example. If you look at this fiber 1 bar, you look at how much fiber it has. 1 bar has 9, where does it say fiber? 9 grams. Wow, 9 grams. That's quite a bit. All we needed was 21 for 50 plus women, or 25 for 19 to 40 to 49. So, wow, that's a lot of fiber. That's a good one. Okay, but when you look at the ingredients, sorry about that. What kind of fiber? Chicory root extract.
Oh.
The ingredients are listed by how much they weigh. So what weighs the most is labeled first, is listed first. That means this product, it has more inulin than anything else. So if you're looking to help with relieve constipation, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. You might get very gassy with this.
Oh.
And it does have a lot of sugar. Let's see, where's the sugar? It's 10
Only
grams.
10.
Well, 10 grams of sugar, not too shabby.
Is it? No.
Let's see. That's a better thing to look at. The number 2 ingredient is semi-sweet chocolate chips. So inulin would be this. It would be, you can barely see it here, but it would be this white powder. That would be your first thing. The second thing would be the chips, the chocolate chips. And then finally, we get to whole grain oats, which is the good stuff. And corn syrup.
Corn syrup is bad.
Anything with corn syrup.
Right.
Oh.
It's mostly sugar.
It looks like it, right?
It's
Right.
only 9 grams. 10.
So it's hard to make money on just pure oats. If you package oats and you can make it into a product, then you can sell it and make money. So everything, they want to add value to our staples. Anyway, but again, being aware so you're not tricked. Now, there are some cereals from Fiber One that are mostly wheat brand. They're amazing. They're great. They also have the ones that are not so good. So we got to be aware. Okay, what are the benefits of fiber? We were focusing today on cardiovascular health, but there are other benefits too besides the insoluble helping with preventing constipation, soluble fiber reducing cholesterol absorption. For those folks who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, the gooey, sticky, insoluble fiber does trap also carbs and sugars so that we absorb them slower and give our body more time to metabolize and to use them. Whole grains in general, they do have FDA approval for health claims on packages saying that it helps reduce coronary heart disease by reducing inflammation in the arteries and reduces some cholesterol. It does make you feel a little bit fuller, which is good for losing weight. I think I'll in the interest of time, maybe I'll just fly through this slide.
Oh
See,
yeah. Oh,
everything-
I can't even.
Everything gets absorbed into your bloodstream in the small intestine. Prior to that, gets to the stomach, mixes, churns. It's a blender. It goes here, and here with the sticky fiber, it can trap some of those cholesterol and the bile that's made from cholesterol. Excreting that in the toilet, and when your body needs to make more cholesterol, more bile, it pulls it from the blood, lowering cholesterol. So practical ways to add fiber. I think the key thing is going slow, because we might get very gassy if we go too quick. So gradually adding. You can do the brown rice. Let's see here, whole grain breads, enjoying different types of grains, not just the same ones. You know, how about tri-farro, kamut, oats, barley, quinoa. Bake with. You can mix the flours. You can also add beans to casseroles and to soups. And I got the 5-minute warning because we're gonna do. I'll show you what we're gonna do next.
Oh, do
A food demonstration in the front. And pretty much, I'll let you read those. They're pretty straightforward. But I wanted to ask you, what's wrong with the right one?
The potato.
Okay. Ah, very good.
Mashed potatoes.
Missing the skin.
Oh,
They're not-
they
they don't
eat the
have-
skin.
Yeah, mashed potatoes are one of the highest potassium foods. It's one of the few foods. Yeah, not like that.
Cream and butter.
Okay, we
And
can do better with
chai.
those. Yes,
Yeah.
you can do better with those. But this is how we should be all eating. Because once we're getting older, past 50, you have less muscle, your metabolism is slower, and if we gain extra weight, it's going to increase inflammation in our body everywhere.
So wait
So,
a minute.
low-
You should eat the stuff on the left side, left plate,
Either
not
either
the
one,
right
just
side.
you can fix this and it's still pretty good. The good news is if you lose around 5-10%, it's mostly comes off abdominal fat and it decreases inflammation. So we don't need to lose a lot of weight as we get older. We just need to have a better eating pattern and a little bit of weight loss. This is a list of foods that are gassy and not gassy for those who need that level of detail. The
Oh,
the more
gassy
shocking ones
food.
would be apples being
Oh,
very
yeah?
gassy food.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now, that's if it doesn't cause pain or diarrhea,
No.
then it's good. The more gassy food, the better. This actually feeds your probiotics, your healthy gut bacteria.
You're talking about the right foods?
Anything that's gassy is actually very healthy. It's just that sometimes we have to be careful as we're transitioning. And I think we got almost 1 minute. There is some websites for degassing your beans because the next thing we're doing right now is we're going to have a food demonstration and you get to taste these 2 recipes today.
Oh, I like this.
Mediterranean bean salad as well as the white bean salad. So we're gonna get started in a few minutes if you guys wanna make your way out front. Yeah.
This is something. Oh, out
It
there.
is.
Oh,
We have
oh.
2 dietitians,
Thank you.
2 other dietitians out in the front, and you're welcome. Thank you.
So any more lecture here?